to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. We have a returning guest today, Natalie Norcross. Natalie is the CEO and founder of A Design Partnership. Natalie has over 19 years experience working for interior designers, architects, builders, developers, hotel and home brands, and her firm has a demonstrated track record of driving exposure and placements through the PR they produce for their clients. Natalie actually started her career as an interior designer. However, after building and selling a highly successful residential and hospitality firm, she was repeatedly approached by interior design and architecture firms to help them with marketing and business development, and a design partnership was born. Since then, the agency has grown to a dynamic group of experts who are passionate about helping clients transform their brands and evolve their businesses. Natalie is an official member of Forbes Agency Council, as well as a regular speaker and panelist in both the communications and the design industries. Today on the show, Natalie talks about the 4 areas that you need to pay attention to, well, actually that she pays attention to for her clients when she is going after press for them. They're areas that you want to pay attention to too, right? She also talks about a new launch that she has to make PR more accessible to designers than ever before. And she also shares many of the strategies that she uses personally to set goals and that she uses to run her firm and achieve the success that she has. Natalie, for sure, is a hashtag smart lady. And I have to say, ever since interviewing her the first time on episode 162, I have looked forward to crossing paths with her again. And then before we do this, I have a question. Have you placed an order with Article.com yet? You know, Article is your go-to resource for mid-century designs for living rooms, dining rooms, office, and outdoor spaces. And I know you've seen their fabulous #green Sven Cher on the cover of my second book, A Well-Designed Business, The Power Talk Friday Experts. And I can tell you from my experience that ordering and delivering are super easy and super quick. And the customer service team can't even be nicer. Everybody is so awesome to work with there. If you already have your trade account, specify an Article product for your next project and see how easy it is for yourself. Go to welldesigned.article.com. That's welldesigned.article.com. All right, looking forward to either reintroducing or introducing you to Natalie Norcross. Hi, Natalie. Thanks so much for coming back to A Well-Designed Business.
Hello, Luann. Thank you so much for having me today.
You know, Natalie, I have said over and over again on this show that I have these particular moments that when I speak to somebody and in the conversation, and then 100% when I'm listening to the show again in editing, that I think, now that's a #smart lady. And I just totally remember that feeling with you. And so I'm so excited that we finally got it together to do this again. Today, what we're going to do, we're going to pull apart. You've had 2 experiences in your life, 2 major businesses. First, you had a luxury high-end residential and hotel design firm, right? You ran this firm. How many years did you have that firm, Natalie?
9.
9 years.
9 years, yes.
Okay, and you sold that firm in 2008.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't ask you if it was okay to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you. In selling that firm, Natalie, I often when I do presentations, usually it's my keynote presentations where I've been asked to speak to an organization. And particularly if the organization that I'm speaking to has a mature entrepreneurial audience. So the people in the audience are in business 10, 15, 20, and 25 years. I'll often talk to them about, do you want to work your company your whole life and just close the doors? Or would you love at some point to be able to sell that company, even if it is to a child, a family member, something that maybe you want to sell it to them for $1. I don't care. Or you want to sell it to somebody. The thing is, I always explain to them that if they haven't developed duplicatable, recognizable systems, that no matter how successful their business is, they're running a you and not a business. Because when the next person comes in to buy a business, there has to be something that they buy, not just like, hey, everything's in Natalie's brain, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about, for you to have an interior design firm that was so well run, that was so well organized to be able to sell, that's quite an accomplishment. Would you just spend a few minutes talking about your experience there, since, everybody listening is an interior designer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a really kind of great opportunity. I had a business partner that I was running the company with, and I met my husband and got married. And so we opened another office in North Carolina, and traveling back and forth from LA to North Carolina was quite a lot of work. And we were kind of in the conversations about having a baby and what that would look like. And so thankfully, she was really open to buying me out and buying the business. And so she's still running the business now. Her name's Annette English, and is a wonderful, successful business now. And it was a great opportunity for, me to sell and kind of move on to the next leg in my career, which at the time I thought was going to be to have a baby, of which the economy crashed. And when the economy crashed, I started having a lot of designers and architects saying, you did marketing so well with your company, can you help me with mine? And that's really how the agency was born. And now I just look back and really just see what a blessing that it's been in my life, and how awesome it is to be able to serve clients and help them kind of further their business.
That's interesting. So it was a different kind of baby that you had when you moved to North Carolina.
I did have a real baby too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So okay. So that's a little different nuance. So you didn't sell it to a stranger. However, even in that scenario, even in that scenario, it had to be all of the duties that you did and the responsibilities that you did as a partner had to be well done and systemized. Otherwise, I don't imagine that Annette would have been like, I'm not going to pay you for that. This thing is going to fall apart when you leave anyway, because you're taking away all the things that you do and the knowledge, and I don't have a rule book on how to do that. Right? It had to.
Absolutely. I mean, I think especially as any of the listeners know, running a design business is, like juggling 10 different balls in 10 different times. So, we had a lot of systems in place in terms of client onboarding, managing employees, business development and marketing systems and plans, and, spent 9 years kind of developing what that looks like, and how that all runs and functions and is successful. So definitely, having a lot of, programs in place and systems for organization was really critical to the success of our company at that time, as well as, continuing on even to this day, I imagine.
Right, exactly. And so tell us about, did you both have a skill set in that heavy detail and organization mode, and understanding that the business needs to be supported by the backbone of the systems, or were one of you or the other more inclined and naturally skilled at that?
No, I would say we were both very organized in terms of, systems in place and things of that nature. She tended to focus a little bit more on, design and working with designers. I tend to focus a little bit more on marketing and business, and the business development side. And that's just because naturally those were things that we both loved and were really passionate about, which is kind of serendipitous because that's now what A Design Partnership's, full business, was really, born on helping and marketing interior design firms.
That's awesome. I love it. And so, listen to me, everybody listening. I mean, we're 5 minutes in. You love it, right? Like you could just hear how smart you are. Makes me so excited. Okay. So now you go and you open a design partnership and you go into PR and marketing for other interior design professionals. This is what you know. This is what you did for your own firm in addition to your other duties. And, how many years later you're like killing it, right?
Oh, thank you. We are really blessed to be able to serve a lot of wonderful clients and have the fortitude to be able to help them to further their business and achieve the goals that they have.
So tell me a little bit about when you go to open this business, like are there particular practices or systems that you were like non-negotiable? I'm going to start this business. This is some of the things that I've learned from running the design firm or I've learned from other positions in my career. And how, because you know what it is, Natalie? There's one particular thing that happens on the podcast a lot. I will get an email from somebody that will say to me, I almost feel like I have to stop listening to the podcast. As much as I love it and I love you and I love your guests, it sometimes makes me feel overwhelmed. It sometimes makes me say, and this is not just, my hashtag baby designers that are in business 1 or 2 years. This is sometimes a seasoned designer who's been in business 10, 15 years. And while there is certainly success and there are dozens of completed projects that are not only have been profitable, but are beautifully executed, but it's possible, I know for a fact, it's possible to be in business that many years and still not feel like the back end is locked down. And at this point, listening to the show and listening to the guests, they want that, but it feels like, where do I start? So give us some tips, because you've launched 2 successful companies now. What do you say to someone that is feeling like, how do I just lock it down and start to get things organized so that I can onboard clients easily and onboard new employees easily?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many different ways to get your business organized. One thing that we've been doing for a couple years now that I really love, and it kind of parlays into starting out in the new year, is we spend the last 90 days of the year just as intentional as we did the first 90 days of the year, and really set strategic goals. One of the, pillars, I think, in goal setting is choosing one dream and going all in with that dream and taking your goals kind of one step at a time. And by putting all of your focus and dedication into one goal, it really allows you to achieve your dreams so much more efficiently. So my advice is, pick one goal that you believe will make you the best version of yourself and create a roadmap of all the resources and steps that it will take to get you there. And ultimately by doing that, you're going to feel the fulfillment. And it's really hard to look at, 10 dreams or 10 goals that you have, and try to achieve all of them at once. And so, nailing down that niche focus and choosing one dream and just going all in, I think is really great advice that has furthered my own business as well as hopefully helps others.
Okay, so I love this. Now, give me an idea, specific, okay? So when, like for instance, do you sit down, you said you spend 90 days. Is this, we spend 2 hours every Tuesday in the last 90 days of the year? Do we spend every single week, every hour of the last 90 days? Get me specific on what you mean when you devote the last 90 days to setting strategic goals.
Yeah. So in the last 90 days, what I do is there's a few things. One of them is focusing on what we call like 5 to Thrive. And that's really being very intentional about your health, moving your body, having a daily morning routine, Also doing a journal, a Start Today journal, which we actually gifted to all of our clients this year for Christmas. And I highly recommend it. If anybody hasn't used it, it's Rachel Hollis's Start Today journal. It's really, really wonderful for just really focusing on your 10 dreams, the 10 goals that you're going to achieve, and allowing yourself to go all in with one. And then giving up one category of food or one category of something that's unhealthy in your life. It might be a bad relationship or, candy or whatever that one category of something that you can give up in the last 90 days. And so that's where we've become really intentional and work with our team on that and kind of have this close sphere of influence and some friends of mine where we just take the last 90 days and try to be as intentional at the end of the year as we were at the beginning.
That's amazing. I love that. That's so cool. Okay. And now take me to this picking one and focusing on it out of the several that you come up with. So do you still, Natalie, come up with for your company, say, let's call it 10 goals for 2020? Do you still do that? But then you turn around and say, and which is my number one?
Yes. Yep. So you write all 10 goals down. You can do it you don't even need, a Start Today journal to do it. You could do it on any plain journal, but you write down your 10 goals that you want to achieve, in 2020 in the new year. And then you just pick one. And so at the end of those 10 goals, you just write, and I will focus on achieving this one dream first, and then write down what that dream is. And then every day you're intentional and you wake up and you really focus in on this is the one thing that I'm going to achieve. And what's awesome is as you focus on achieving that one thing, all the other dreams still are in the works. And some of them might even happen before you're one. But it's almost like when you drop a boulder in the water, you get a large ripple effect. But if you threw 100 little pebbles of water, you don't get as large of a ripple effect where it builds momentum. And it's a really great way of, achieving whatever it is you would like to achieve on your goal list.
Okay. Now, is there something either in a previous year or this year that you would be willing to share with us as an example of that one goal focus, whether it's your own for your own firm or with working with some of the other design firms that you work with, just so we get some tangible, in other words, so for instance, we have 10 goals. When we say we're going to focus on one, are you making a suggestion that the one be a bodacious, oh my goodness goal that seems a little bit out of the park? Or are you and make that one, if the most practical thing that you can do to move your business forward in 2020 and the number one thing that you should focus on is making your website perfect, is that it? Or you're no, Luann, we're going higher for this one big dream goal focus?
I mean, for each individual, it's going to be unique to whatever it is for them. I always suggest, pick one goal that you believe will make you the best version of yourself. And so only you really know what that would be for you. It could be a revenue goal. It could be that you want, to close 5 more clients. A lot of our clients actually would prefer better quality rather than quantity of clients. Mm-hmm. So, one goal might be in 2020, I just want 5 really good quality, ideal, perfect $1 million clients.
Right.
I don't want 50 $10,000 clients. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think getting really focused on what is it that lights you up, what is it that's the best version of you. And then whatever is going to make you the best version of you, focus on that one goal with so much tenacity that all the other goals are probably going to fall into place because you achieved that one.
Okay. And I would have to say, when you describe it that way, for instance, my brain goes to, if that were my goal, if as an interior designer, I want $5 million projects that are just the perfect fit for me in every way, personality, aesthetic, collaboration, everything, right? Location, everything. the thing is, so if that's my number one driving goal, that's going to make me and help me to be the best version of myself. If my website, just to use my example, is looking like a hardware store, then that becomes part of one of my to-do lists in order to achieve that goal. Like my website has to look and attract that ideal $1 million client. So that's how am I on the right track? That's how you break it down and you work that towards that one goal.
Absolutely. And that's really creating the roadmap of all the resources and steps that it's going to take to get you there. Right? So that's like the second part. The first part is like pick one goal that is like, you believe is going to make you the best version of yourself. And then second part is action, right? So you have to create a roadmap of all the resources and all of the steps that it's going to take to get you there. And then you just wake up every day and you work the roadmap, you work the steps, you work through all of the things to get you there. And it just helps, I think, you to be really intentional about, what you're doing every day, what it is you want to achieve, what are your goals, and gives you something to wake up and look forward to every day.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. And I love too, I kind of skimmed over it, but you mentioned 2 times that you spend the last 90 days as intentional as the first 90 days of the year, because this is so typical for all of us to do the first, month or two. It's January, new me, new year, like all that crazy crap, right?
Right.
Like, this year I'm going to exercise every day. And like by the 5th, you're like, well, every other day. By the 15th, once a week is good.
Yeah. I have friends who are like, you do a cleanse in December? And I'm like, yeah, every December I do a cleanse. They're like, it's holidays. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, on Christmas Day, I will allow myself a cheat meal. But for the rest of the month, I am on a cleanse and I want to start the new year fresh. And they're like, wow, you're crazy.
That's some fortitude there, Natalie. That is some fortitude. The rest of us are like, all right, it's one more Christmas party. All right, the holiday's almost over. That's awesome. I love that. That's so good. And I've never heard of that. I don't follow Rachel Hollis. I probably should. I should probably start paying attention to her. I certainly see her posts on Instagram. They're stalking me, so I know that it's on my. Somehow it's come across my radar, and all of the algorithm is finding me, right? But I like that. Take one thing away in the last 90 days, just one thing, and I love the idea that it could be a relationship, right? It could be anything that is not serving you, that's toxic, or that just doesn't make you feel great, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It could be caffeine. It could be Coke, whatever that thing is, giving up that one category of something is a great way for you to just focus and create a really strong mindset.
And what I'm 100% certain of is if you can give it up for 30 days, you can give it up for 60. If you can give it up for 90, you're not even going to want it again. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
Just, right? It's just like, whatever, that's over.
Yeah.
I don't even need that anymore.
Yeah, totally.
So, and I'm sure that's the same with the habits, like I said, with the QuickBooks. It's so challenging at first, but 90 days later, or taking something away at an employee that shouldn't be in your business, right? That's Absolutely. A tough one, right? Have you ever had to go through that, Natalie, where you just had to face the music? You can't rehab them. You can't train them. They're just not a good culture fit, and they bring the rest of the team down. Have you ever had that experience?
Oh, absolutely. I know at one point my business coach was like, why, if you don't want to be around them, why are you keeping them in your business? And I'm like, that's true. I keep on avoiding her. Like, why am I even having this person in my business anyways? This is not serving me, my business, my clients, or even herself. Right. It's a really good lesson to learn as well.
Well, and I started laughing because we all need the coach. I don't care who we are. You can be the most brilliant person on the planet, but sometimes we have blinders on our own stuff, right? It's like trying to, design your own house. Me designing my own window treatments, I walk around in circles. And I'm like, my God, Luann, just make a decision.
Yeah, totally.
So it's the same thing. Sometimes you just need somebody. For me, what I find when one of my coaches, because of course I have a coach for every little aspect. I like, when all my specialties, I want the most exceptional person in everything I need help with, right? But like every once in a while, what I love that the the aha that I have when a mentor or a coach or a guide shares with me such a blatantly obvious statement like that I would have, if I were coaching somebody else, I would have said to them like months before, like, what are you doing? What I noticed is it's not that I didn't know that was wrong. I recognize that person was, if we're going to use this example, wasn't a good fit and this and that, and constantly having to sit down and talk and control. But what happens is I would normally have taken it like, well, there is a deficit on my part that I'm not able to get this employee to be exceptional. And sometimes it takes the coach going, no, sweetie, wrong fit, wrong culture. Right. This employee will be exceptional in somebody else's universe. Your universe is too chaotic for them. Let them go.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So very interesting that your coach had to tell it to you. I love it. Yeah. So Natalie, tell me about, like, what about you? What do you think your superpower is? What do you bring to the table as the principal of your PR firm?
Great question. I love this one. I think for me and our entire team, it's all about service. Service. For us, we really don't measure success on what we make or how much we make or on material things. It's more about touching people and helping others further their dreams, their aspirations, and their careers. And that's really, to me, why I find running a PR firm just such a blessing. I love being able to touch lives and help others. And for me, I think impacting their lives and their families and their businesses and their clients, and just that ripple effect of how much change for good that it makes in people's businesses, a true calling and what I believe is my purpose in life. So it's a huge blessing, and for us is also a great superpower.
I love that. So it's so funny because it's similar to the way you probably described when you were an interior designer and you created a home or a space or a hospitality space for a hotel, that you're helping that person feel and realize the best in their surroundings around them. And now as a PR company, you're helping designers realize and accomplish the best in their businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have this thing written above my desk. I'm actually looking at it right now, and it says, every morning I focus on it, but my why is encouraging men and women to reach for more. And I love that this is what I get to do for a living, is just encourage and support men and women in their businesses and help them to reach for more in their lives.
I love it. I love it. Now, let's get you a little bit deeper. What do you think your particular superpower is? I heard you. I asked you this question first, and you answered me what your firm's superpower is, and that's okay. I like that. and I know that it's very true to the core of you as the leader and the CEO, the principal of your company. I'm 100% certain that there is so much of that is happening because of you and because it is your skill set and your desire and your goal. But talk to me about being the leader of your company, Natalie. What do you bring to the table that you really can say, I do this well, and it's appreciated by my team, and this is sort of what makes, a design partnership kind of what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it parlays into that as well, is really touching lives and loving people, and, touching them with good and truth and support. I do stand-up meetings with everyone on our team every Monday, and the 3 questions that I ask of them is, how are you, what are you working on, and how can I help? And I think having that support and them knowing that I can support them gives them a lot of comfort, and knowing that they have this support behind them, and if they need anything, they can always come to me, and they know that I love them, that I care about them. And so that's truly fulfilling and a great way that I like to work with our internal teams, and even how we like to work with our clients. Every month we have a monthly meeting with them, and we go through what it is that they're working on, what press we've landed for them, what press we have coming live. And it's so wonderful just to be able to love and support our clients as well. And so That's what I really think is my superpower, is just being able to love and support others.
I like it. Very, very good. I can hear it in your voice that it's a very important aspect of being the leader of your business it's almost like, it's an overused word, but a holistic approach. You're not just like, okay, let's grind out the PR.
Absolutely. Yeah. And our team is so wonderful. I mean, it's taken us a few years to really craft a beautiful team. And thankfully, for the last couple of years, we've just had this strong, really passionate, dedicated team of wonderful people that just love getting press placements for clients, have great editor relationships, and really enjoy the thrill of getting those placements and getting clients excited about getting in Wall Street Journal and House Beautiful and Architectural Digest and, things and dreams that they never thought that they could have in their business, they have. So it's really, really rewarding and a wonderful blessing to us.
Very cool. And tell us a little bit about the structure of your team. How many employees do you have, and what sort of roles and positions do they have, Natalie?
So our company is so awesome. About, I would say 3 years ago, we actually went virtual. Our entire team went 100% virtual.
Very cool.
It's been really awesome to see. Well, our productivity went through the roof. I mean, pretty much overnight, productivity flourished. At the time, we were measuring productivity and, how much people were doing, how productive they were, what they were achieving in results. And those results actually went up 300% when we switched to a virtual team. And I think for a lot of good reasons. At the time, our office was in LA, and so driving through traffic and having to go through the stress of all of that was definitely hindering on our team. And so because of that, we now have a wonderful team. We have 10 employees across the country. Everyone works virtually, and it's been a wonderful success story to our business.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Okay, so let me get a picture of this then. So on Monday, when you have your weekly meeting, do you have it virtually as a group via Zoom or something like that? Or do you have it individually, a shorter meeting with each of the 10 people, Natalie?
Individually with everybody. So they're just like quick 10, 15-minute stand-ups over the phone.
Wow. And so you don't even look at eyeballs. You just do it over the phone. You just get on the phone with them on Monday morning. How are you? What are you working on? And how can I help you?
Yes. Yep. Every Monday we do a stand up over the phone. And then every Friday they send a weekly report. And we do have some of our team that send end of day reports. Those are a lot of like admins on our team. But all of our PR staff do send weekly updates on everything that they've been working on over the week.
Okay. Now, tell me a little bit about how their day is structured. Or is it the sort of day, Natalie, where it's their call if they work 2 hours or 8 hours based on what their workload is and the deadlines are, and they just are grown-ups, and the accountability, of course, you have the weekly reports and the daily reports in place, and if you're measuring productivity. So it's sort of like, get it done whenever you get it done and just tell me when it's done, or are they commissioned to you for X amount of minimum hours per week?
Yeah, so we don't necessarily have that many, deadlines, like you have to work this hour to this hour. What we have found is that they actually work more. So, they respond to, clients at 8:00 at night or on a Saturday or on a Sunday. And so it's much more of like, just this is what success looks like. And we have a success metric for every client, and we analyze that success metric on a regular basis. And as long as they are achieving success with the client, then that's all we care about, right? So
Right.
Success wins. And so I measure it more on the success metric than on hours.
Okay. And since there are these, does each person have domain over each client? So like, in other words, almost like an interior design project. You have 10 designers working for you, and one is working on a house in Santa Fe and one is working on a house in LA. So is that the same way where one person on your team is assigned to a particular PR client of yours, or is the team have structure where multiple team members are working with each client?
So each client has one PR account executive and myself, and we work on that client as well as we have admins on our team. But that one PR account executive kind of takes the lead for that client.
Love it. I love it. I love it. So I told you you're a smart lady. Okay. Really, really, really cool. And so when you say you were going to hire a new PR account executive today, I'm assuming just by talking to you that you've got a job description already. You've got an operations manual that tells them the formula for onboarding a new PR client. It tells them how to evaluate and come up with that success metric. Like, this is all documented, is my guess.
Yes, absolutely.
I knew the answer before I asked it, of course. I could just hear it in your voice. Now, success metric. I love this idea. So is the success metric something that is based on, say, X amount of ideas, principles, goals, whatever, but then the finite actual success metric for each client is come to an exact thing based on the conversations and the discovery with that particular client?
Yeah, so every client is totally unique. We have a designer in Texas where, her success metric is getting press in national publications and regional publications, more like 80% national, 20% regional, as well as, attracting employees because she's in a small rural town in Texas and there's not that many employees in the area. And so, that is what success looks like for her. And we go through a discovery process in the beginning with our clients in an initial meeting and in order to evaluate. And I actually do all of those initial meetings with our clients in order to put the best success metric together for that client. And then, for another client, it might look like more of, they want more projects, they want better quality local projects, and they're, expanding, they want better quality. So for them, they want 90% of their press regional lifestyle publications in their area, and 10%, national, maybe a House Beautiful or an Elle Decor piece here or there, but it's much more about gaining, good quality clients in their local market. We have another client who's expanding in 3 different regions, and they just want, press in those 3 regions. So everyone is totally different and unique, and we create a success metric specially designed and customized just for that client.
I love it. It's so amazing. I love it. And as far as the reporting system, the accountability for each of your employees, when you have the employees coming in on Friday and the daily admins with their thing, is that a document that you set up and said, these are the things that I want to hear about at the end of the week and the end of the day, or however they provide to you what they've accomplished that week is okay with you?
Oh no, it's all template and then they fill it in. This is what I want to know.
It's so funny because sometimes I know somebody so well that when I ask the question, I'm just giving you a place to share your knowledge. And other times I don't know the answer to the question, but I completely expect I do. So I love it. I think it's awesome. This can be... These things that you're describing, Natalie, can easily be parlayed to an interior design firm, right? So if you've got Absolutely. 2 or 3 junior or senior designers and they're sort of working independently, whether they're working remotely or not, to some extent, when they're at their desk and they're sourcing and creating the design plans and everything else, they're sort of working independently. Who cares if you can see the back of their head, right? Because you're doing what you're doing all day as the principal, and you have multiple people doing what they're doing all day in their job. But at the end of the week or the end of the day, you need a very clear, concise way to say, okay, did all my people get all their stuff done? Like, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that what really helped us to define it even more was working with a business coach and having my own accountability and having to be accountable for my own actions. That was really a great way for me to kind of take a mirror and look inside of like, what does success look like for me? What am I going to do to hold myself accountable to achieve, XYZ results? And then in turn, how am I going to hold our team accountable? So it's nice. It's kind of nice having a coach that holds you accountable to be able to know what it feels like to be held accountable. And it actually feels good to be held accountable. You actually feel successful, right? Because like someone's holding you accountable, like this is what you're going to achieve. And then they're checking in with you to make sure you achieve it. Right. And then you're like, ooh, that was success because I achieved it.
I got a gold star today. Yay.
Right. And we all want that. Right. Like that's even my children like that. My, employees like that, our staff. I like that, so it's nice just to have that accountability in place. And to know that it feels good for myself and how great and accomplished that it helps the team to feel as well.
Well, and the thing about it is because without having accountability set in place, you can, so much of us forget pretending that we got more done than we really did. How about when we don't recognize how much we actually got done in a week or a day?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, it's the best. I have a to-do list every day of like all the things to achieve, and I love crossing it off. And the other day I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, I actually did something that wasn't on my to-do list, and I wrote it on my to-do list just so I could cross it off.
I've done the same thing.
It's ridiculous. I'm like, that's really OCD. I mean, that is like,
but that feels like the gold star. Swipe right across, right? Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't even have it on there, but I did it. I'm going to write it, cross it off.
I love it. No, it's so true. And it is important because as entrepreneurs, we have lots of responsibility and not everything goes well every single week, even with our best efforts and with all of the things in place that we do put in place. And so I think it's very important to, just have a mechanism that recognizes that I set out to do this and I did it. And yes, this blew up over here and that went wrong, but the whole week wasn't shot. Like I don't love always nevers. You know what I mean? It's like everything this week was bad. I'm sorry. Was it really? I don't really think it's possible that everything this week was bad, right? And so it gives you that ability to, in a moment of overwhelm, to say, okay. I did get this stuff done. And I think that's kind of like where I was at the beginning of the show with asking your advice on how you go about it, because it is very important to say that I'm going to do this one thing. And if I've decided I'm going to do it and it takes 4 steps to do it, but I actually get through that, that's high five for me, right?
Right. Absolutely. And I think developing just a growth mindset is so important. It's one thing my husband and I are pretty passionate about teaching our 3 little boys is just how to develop that growth mindset. And like you were saying, instead of being pessimistic and like, I didn't do all these things, focus on what are the 5 things that I did achieve today? What are the 5 things that I did accomplish today? And, focus on your energy on that growth mindset and just allowing, that to be in your life is just something that's really a wonderful life lesson to live and a much more joyful way to live your life. And so I think developing that growth mindset is an awesome way to run your business.
Definitely. We had an episode several months ago with Alex Gourlay, and I had coached her, Nancy and I coached her together a couple of years ago. And she came back on the show. She came on the show to share with everybody all how coaching with Nancy and I, or in that particular period, sort of just started her off on her journey, because both Nancy and I are growth mindset people. And so she said, just sort of being with you guys every single week. It was almost like if you've never had, I don't know, chocolate ice cream before. And it's like, she's got chocolate ice cream. What's that? Well, I'm not going to taste it this week. But by the third week, you're like, well, maybe a little. And by the 10th week, you're like, heck yeah, on the chocolate ice cream. Right. And so for there, it set her on a journey. And there was a book that she found, and I don't recall what it is, but I'll put in the show notes Alex's episode number. And it was all about adopting a growth mindset. And for Alex, she needed to go back and think about and evaluate why she didn't have it, right? And then work through the lessons of coming through it. And she said when she did, her business completely blew up.
I love it. I mean, that it is so powerful because it's almost like Tony Robbins speaks a lot about this too, the power of proximity. You are just like the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And so if you're spending time with others who have growth mindset, then by being in proximity with them, you are achieving what they're achieving. And, you're having the same thoughts, the same conversations, all the same things happening. I once heard a pretty awesome speaker talk about if you are the most successful person in your group of friends, you need to find a new group of friends.
Right. It's like, it reminds me of the other saying, how can you soar like an eagle if you're flying with turkeys?
Right.
No offense to all the turkeys.
Yeah.
But, it's the truth. And the funny thing is that was sort of what she was kind of communicating. And I don't recall if it came out on the show, or if it was on the off-air conversation, but it was just that being around us every week for the 10 weeks of that course. And she just was saying to herself, there's another way to think about things. And that set her on the path to really doing the next level, deeper work of finding it. And what I often say to the people that I work with and coach, or even if I meet them at a live event, is, you really have to remember that the strong opinions that you have in your brain that you cling to are really just that. They're really just opinions. Yeah. And so if you're going to cling to a really strong opinion, why don't we make it a great one? Why don't we believe that, like to your words in the beginning, I can be the best version of myself, as opposed to, well, this is all I'm destined to be, or this is all I'm able to do because, look at me, I can't add and subtract to save my life. Is it stop me from, having an amazing business? There's just, look, you don't need to be good at everything. And you don't need to focus on the things that you're not good at. Find your superpower, right, Natalie? Find the things that you're good at and hire the people that you're not. Right?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. I mean, like, Tony Robbins came from an abusive mother who, like, his whole life growing up had abused him, or Rachel Hollis, like, only graduated from high school, or, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? If we all just focused on all the things that we didn't do, then you wouldn't have any time spent on focusing on things you need to get done. So it's so wonderful just to be able to have that growth mindset, surround yourself and attract those who also are like-minded. And, it's important to surround yourself with the positive people in your life, whether that be employees as well. Like if you're avoiding somebody in your office, like that's a sign that you probably need to get rid of them, and it goes back to that whole conversation.
I know. Well, I laugh at that because I had that exact experience in WindowWorks many years ago. Oh my goodness, it has to be 15 or more. And matter of fact, my one daughter was in middle school. So we're going to say it was about 16 to 18 years ago. And her personality made me crazy. It just made me crazy. I could not stand it. And she made everybody crazy in the office, but made me the most crazy because, of course, I'm the most passionate. I'm the most crazy to begin with. There's a certain level of crazy that just comes along with me, right? And there was and the thing was, I remember saying to my partners, to Vin and Bill, I'm sorry. Am I the only one she drives crazy? Do not tell me that this is okay. And they'd be like, well, and they mostly were just laughing at me because it made me nuts. But then finally one day I was like, I'm dead serious. If I thought that she was the best person on the planet, would you want her to work here for one more year? And they were like, well, no, we're kind of counting on you actually to finally hit the wall with her. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the thing was, what I found was that I I used to go home every single day until my youngest had a license after school. And so whether, she was 15, 16, whatever it was, if I, we'd leave in the morning and I'd say, oh, what are you doing after school today? Oh, I have, baseball practice or softball practice. Oh, we have, photography class. But whatever time she was going to get home, whether I was the one picking up or, the bus or whatever, I would go home at that time. And what happened was she was in a sports season. And so she was never going to be home. I never had to pick her up before 6 o'clock. And when we switched to that season, I would get done an appointment at like 4:30, 4 o'clock. And I'd say, oh, well, Window Works is open for another hour, but that person is there. So I'll go to the grocery store. I could go home and get the laundry done. You know what I mean? Or I'll go watch the last half hour of practice. And after like 3 weeks of that, I was like, Lou Ann, you must face the music here,
Totally.
But these are learning lessons as a leader of your company, right? You just don't necessarily, there's a lot of skills that we have learned through growing up, through past experiences, careers, or whatever, that we come in and we own as a business owner right away. But there's other skills that, you have to learn and you have to do the lesson of doing it. And that's the message, too, that I sort of want to share, because you're so accomplished. And when you have conversations with really accomplished people like yourself, it sometimes can feel like, oh, I don't have any of that going on. But we all have our learning days and our learning lessons, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've all been through the trenches, going through the trenches. We're all right there in it with the rest of y'all.
Exactly. The thing is, I think maybe, would you say the difference is I always feel like, I love the whole thing. I've always been a person who's willing to make the hard decision. I might come slowly to it like that. I might go to the grocery store every single day for 3 weeks before I finally think, hello, okay? But when it's ultimately, like you said, your coach said to you, why do you have a person in your company that you don't like to be around? Then when you go and you do the hard thing and everything else is better, I say to people when it's their first time trying to do that hard thing, believe me, on the other side of it, you are going to feel so good. And the more you do it, the more you'll just be like, oh, that's a hard thing I have to do. That really stinks. Let me do it carefully. Let me do it respectfully. Let me understand how I'm going to execute it. But yeah, we're going to be good when this is done, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way that I would say as a business owner, I approach a challenge today versus 15 years ago is so different. Before it would, I'd hem and haw and try to figure out a million ways of maybe I shouldn't do that, to, oh, this is a challenge. Let's figure it out, face it head on and plow through it. Because on the other end, there's so much value for all concerned. Right. And so I couldn't agree more. I think, just as a business owner, you learn that with challenges, you just stand up and you got to face them head on, head first, go straight through them.
And it just really skyrockets your confidence and you start to go, I got this. And then challenge, and then to your point, it's just, let's figure out how to solve it, not like wallow in, or just be anxiety in the challenge itself. It's just like, okay, this stinks. Let's fix it. Right.
Right. And instead you cling to, everything is figure outable. Marie Forleo just wrote that new book that's everything is figure outable. When you just cling to the fact that like every single thing that is happening in your life is figure outable. Like you can figure out a way to get through it, to get to the other side of it, no matter what. And when you cling to that and know and have that confidence, then I think you can really achieve anything in your business.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So let's switch gears for a few minutes, 4, 5, 10 minutes, whatever. Give us some advice on PR. Okay. So let's stick to somebody that maybe, we're not talking about somebody who wants national exposure and AD, right? Because those people probably have PR agents. Let's be real. Okay. And so when we talk about whether we're in business 15 years or we're in business 5 years or 1 year, whatever it is, let's just stick to our goal, because the truth is, right? You tell me if I'm right, but whether I'm in business 1 year, 5 years, or 10, if my goal is to have more clients in 2020, more of my ideal projects in my area, it's less relevant how many years I'm in business. Now, the tools and the portfolio that as a PR agent that you would have to work with are completely different. I get that part. But there's probably certain steps that are just good key points for someone that you would say, okay, right, we're not going to work together, but you want two things off the top of my head that will help you get more of your ideal clients in 2020. What would you say to us, Natalie?
Absolutely. We just posted a blog post on this, which I should send you the link for because it is so awesome. It's pretty much 5 steps to get awesome PR for your business today. I really think that if you have the time to, get out there and get some press, to really focus in on those 5 steps is really great. One of them is, write your pitch and make sure that whatever you're writing to the editor speaks to that type of editor. So for instance, if you're writing to the editor of Lux or you're writing to the editor of House Beautiful, it speaks to their content. But within your pitch, just make sure that it's very well thought through according and tailored towards that publication. And also just make a list of, your top 5 media outlets that you want to be published in, and then, find the editor's contact information and send them the pitch. And, hopefully they respond. We do have some really good advice in there, like when is a good time to follow up. Typically, if you don't hear back from them in, within 2 weeks, then it's okay to kind of move on to another outlet. And in this instance, I'm talking about if you're looking for an exclusive with a project. So for instance, you have this beautiful project that you've worked on and you really want it to be in a nice spread and you want to do an exclusive with a magazine. Then with your 5 top outlets, go to number 1. If you don't hear back from them in 2 weeks, then it is okay to do a follow-up, but if you don't hear back from them, then go to number 2, number 3, number 4, and then number 5 and kind of follow that process and until you hear back from someone and until you get picked up. So I think that's a really good article also that dives in deeper, and we do have a few contacts of editors on there with their email addresses.
Wow.
So that would be a really cool thing for any of the listeners that are looking to get published to kind of read through and reach out to some editors and hopefully get some good press.
I love it. What a great resource. I mean, whoa, you just rattled off 4 tips just like that. That's awesome. We'll definitely put a link to that blog post in the show notes. The thing is, what's funny is what I have learned is, of course, we've had Amy Fleury on the show. I'm sure you know Amy Fleury, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I can think of 2 of the designers that listen to the show, Claudia in North Carolina and also Sarah in North Carolina, Claudia Ricardone and Sarah Brennan. And both of them had followed very similar advice that you just said, is to really, really understand the demographic, the style, the conversation of the piece that the company, the outlet that you're pitching, because Amy had told us this as well. And it's so smart and it's such a great reminder. And the one thing that both of these designers found out is when you are looking for clients in your local area, then that local press is the gold, right? The Architectural Digest isn't the gold for that. This is the gold for actually getting eyeballs of real people who are potentially could hire you. And what both of these women have found is, just like we've had Ashley Hotham Cox on the show, we've had Ren Miller on the show. These are editors of regional magazines, and they've said, we are looking for content. Like, we are looking for projects that we can feature. And as long as the pitch is well crafted and the project itself is beautiful, and I remember Ren saying, if there's a point of view to it, if there's a little hook to it, why there's something great about the project, maybe it's something in the relationship, maybe it's something about the homeowner, something about the property, whatever it is, that they're looking for these ideas, right, Natalie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they absolutely are looking for content. I mean, we have editors coming to us all day long looking for, new content, trend stories, what's coming up in 2020 trends, paint color trends, fabric trends, design trends, what are we seeing? So, pitching our clients as experts in industry for that. So, there's a lot of content, especially with digital these days, online, they're kicking out a lot of content, both online and print. So, editors need content. They need, good things to share. And if you have a good story and you're an interior designer, then you're an expert. And so I think there's a lot of, opportunity for most clients to get a lot of great press. With our company, we actually focus on 4 different areas of press for our clients. So one is getting, the overall brand press. 2 is getting them, the designer, the owner of the company, press as an expert. 3 is their projects. And then 4 is for trend stories. So, 2020 trends, winter trends, fall trends, summer trends. I mean, there's tons of trends ongoingly. And because of that, we do get our clients quite a bit of press on a regular basis.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're really attacking it, on the 4 legs of a table, as opposed to just coming only with the project and the portfolio work. You're creating a whole, machine around every way that a particular firm can make an impact in the industry.
Absolutely. And we have clients come to us like, there's no way that my work, I'll ever be published in House Beautiful or AD. And I'm like, you absolutely will. I mean, I look at your portfolio, I look at your websites, your work is beautiful. You're an expert. They're looking for trend stories already, so I think there's just so much opportunity for content with publications. And it's knowing the editors, knowing their editorial calendars, understanding what it is that they want, when they want it. A lot of it is timing. And, because we kind of have our pulse on all of those things, we're able to get our clients a lot of great press month after month.
I love it. I love it. And you have a new thing coming out, Natalie, through a design partnership where you are going to be rolling out. And by the time this show airs, it may be rolled out, but you're rolling out interiordesignpr.com, which is going to be a monthly membership where designers can be a part of your membership and get DIY tips, things that every single month you're going to be sharing with them, information so that if they're not quite ready from a budget standpoint or an expertise level yet for full-on PR services like your firm offers, they can start to get this machine rolling, right? Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, yes. We are so excited to be launching Interior Design PR. What it is all the tools that you need to get published, which is great. We literally will give you everything that you need to get yourself published. It includes everything from a full public relations and communication strategy, a 12-month pitch plan. Every month with our Premier program, you get 3 monthly trend pitches, as well as short lead and long lead pitches, project pitching templates, profile pitching templates, 2020 editor contact list, which is updated every month, a getting published guide. So it just has all the tools, which is so exciting, and everything that you need to get yourself published. And what we found is we have thousands of designers coming to us every month, every year, looking for PR services, but they couldn't, find within their budgets the opportunity to be able to have a full service program. And so we really kind of thought through this year on what can we do to serve this population of designer that, is so worthy of press, and it's going to grow their company, and how can we help and support them and their businesses. And so we created Interior Design PR, which we're so excited about. We are launching that in January 2020.
Okay, so it's probably launched while we're listening to this then. That's awesome. And what's so funny is I'm just thinking you're going to probably, by 2021, need to hire probably 10 more people, because any designer, if you say you have 20 designers that go through and actually diligently take advantage of all of these things that you are putting into this program, like probably 80% of them will be like, now I have the budget for full service PR. Go do it for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're going to grow their business, right? I mean, how awesome is that?
It's so awesome.
Did you think about that little dilemma you might have a year from now?
I know, right? It definitely could be a big dilemma for sure.
That's it. No. Yeah. Think about somebody, you know, it's investments like these, whether it be investing in a coaching situation or investing in a PR situation like this. These are the kinds of things that when you put money into this and into your business this way, it grows your business. The ROI it can be exponentially insane, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we had one client who was doing a premium PR program with us, and in 1 year, he had 7 new clients that came just from press publications, from clients literally reading a magazine and seeing his architectural homes, and he being featured and calling them up from it. And so it absolutely helps businesses and will help them flourish. And we just couldn't be more excited to serve this part of the community that has been wanting the tools that they need to get published. And it literally gives you every single tool that you could ever need, including full contact information for over, I think our editor contact list, we just updated it, has 2,000 contacts within home and design architecture.
That's remarkable.
Yes, I know. It's awesome.
That's crazy. You could sell that as a little book right there.
I know, right? Yeah.
That's awesome. Like the PR Bible there.
Right. And as we know, editors and people within media, they move all the time. I mean, every month they're always moving. And so every month we're updating that list so that you're always having the most up-to-date list of, who's who, who's where, what their current email address is, how to reach out to them. So we're really excited about that and being able to give that as a tool for designers to use.
That's amazing. I love it. This is so outstanding. I mean, and it's funny because it wouldn't have occurred to me. I'm saying make a book out of it, but you're like a month later, the book's out of date. Like that's the point. Okay, that book doesn't work. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Natalie, you are a superstar. I just love conversations with you. I love everything about the way you approach everything from, the hard, finite systems and processes, but all the way to the heart-centered and the big picture and the visionary and knowing that anything is possible if you work hard for it. I just think it's an awesome combination that you have. And I thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure being with you today, and I've really enjoyed this time together.
So if you haven't already listened to Natalie's original episode, number 162, I recommend you listen to this one as well. The thing about it is, and I said it when I first started the conversation, I really remembered speaking with Natalie. And the thing is, I didn't remember so much the exact content of the conversation, but what I remembered was being super impressed by her. And there are just some business owners that are different, that they get that it's possible to have a high-achieving company with goals and dreams, and what they do is they go out and they create the kind of company that truly makes them happy. And I know that there's an emphasis placed on earning money for sure, because you can't keep doing anything you love as a business if you don't make the money to sustain it. But this breed of business owners, they also place emphasis on how the business is run, okay? And that's how Natalie is. Sandra Funk at House of Funk reminds me of the same type of person. There's just this level and care and attention that is given to the specific way that the team is developed. There is just, and the specific way that the business is run, right? There's something different in their outlook. And what I've noticed in all of these conversations over these 4 years and all of the other years in business, that 201 entrepreneurs that I have met that are like Natalie and Sandra Funk, that have businesses like this, that just have that little X factor, they all have coaches and advisors. It's it's uncanny. I mean, in fact, typically, the more successful that they are, the more likely I have found that they have more than one coach. So when you hear Natalie talk about her firm, her weekly stand-up meetings, her goal setting, think to yourself, what actions am I taking to create the kind of company that creates a lifestyle that fulfills me both financially and personally? Because it can be done. It costs money, because you have to be willing to take a shot on yourself. You have to be willing to invest in yourself, right? And I want to remind you that I'm here to help you if you want my help, okay? If you listen to episode number 491 a couple of months ago, I explained all the ways to work with me, to get advice and coaching from me or through me. And we're not all right for each other, but I do want to remind you that one of those ways is to have me as your chairman of the board. The chairman of the board specifically helps you, the CEO, with strategic planning, with goal setting. And the chairman of the board is there to offer you advice and resources to help you achieve those goals, okay? So having run WindowWorks for almost 4 decades, I really get how hard it is to be alone in business. And the reason that I get it is because I've never been alone in business. Could always go to Vin to learn something, to our partner Bill to learn something. And together, the three of us have always had outside advisors and mentors. And so as I've gone around the country and talked with you, and I received the emails and the notes from you, I know that many of you do not have that. You don't have that person that outside voice that you can just say, is this a really crazy idea? Or is this a really good idea? Or I have this idea and I know in my gut it's something I should pursue, but I'm not sure the direction to get there. And so this is the thing, it's if you don't have somebody, I would love to be that somebody for you. Okay. The chairman of the board is a year-long coaching project. We meet 4 times throughout the year for all-day session together. And then we have monthly meetings in between. These meetings are the 4-day sessions are the big, strategic things. We outline everything that you're thinking about, all of your dreams, your goals, the obstacles, the challenges, and we break them down. And I've been doing it with a few clients already, and it's really been very interesting, challenging, rewarding, exciting. The all-day sessions are they go in a blip. The first one that I did, I think it was 2:30 in the afternoon, and we realized we hadn't eaten yet. We started at 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you are in need of someone to help you, to help define your goals, the ones to chase, the ones to set aside. If you need somebody to kick you in the butt sometimes, I'm really good at that. But I'm also really good at holding your hand too, if you feel like you got kicked. All right. So if you're interested, you let me know. You email me at info@luannigara.com. All right. Put chairman of the board in the subject line. Give me your telephone number, and I'm going to call you within 24 hours. We're going to talk about why you think this might work for you. Because here's the thing. If I don't think I'm the one to help you, if I don't think that what your need requires chairman of the board type of coaching, then I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to recommend someone from my insanely amazing resources of business advisors and coaches and Power Talk Friday experts. Okay. So, but if I think I'm the one for you, I'll let you know that too. I have to tell you, I have 1 spot open for the year. All right. 1 spot left. So if you're interested, you let me know and we'll talk it through and see if it's a good fit for the both of us. Okay. All righty. Don't forget the other shows that we mentioned during this episode. We have Ren Miller, number 12, Ashley Hotham Cox, number 321, Amy Fleury, number 108, and number 323, and of course, Natalie's show 162. So these are all episodes that deal with PR and how to prepare yourself for PR and how to speak to. This is all the do-it-yourself things, right? Of course, Natalie's firm does do it for you. And then, of course, her new launch, the interior, it's not the... Her new launch is interiordesignpr.com. Okay, interiordesignpr.com. This is this new membership program that's making working with a really super world-class firm like hers a possibility if you're still on your way up and don't quite have the budget for your own PR firm just yet. Okay, all right. I really hope that you have a great day. I really, really want to encourage you to do something today that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, makes you feel productive, makes you feel glad that you have your own business and that you're in business for yourself. And if you're not quite in business for yourself yet, maybe just put a little jot in a notepad, something that you learned that you'll remember and come back to, okay? At the end of it, you know what I need you to do? I need you to go out and decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at luannigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.